Okay, you're on.
Thank you. Good morning. It's Monday, November 1st, Tufton Borough Board of Selectmen's meeting. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public input? Hearing none, we'll move on to review and approval of minutes of our Monday, October 25th meeting.
Nothing jumped out at me as being out of whack.
And,
I'll move that we approve the minutes.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Jack, come on in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So right now we have 142 building permits. We have 33 new homes. Last year, all year, there was 20 new houses. And we've done 485 inspections. And I'll be out next Friday and the following Monday.
Okay.
As you can see or hear, the windows are
Going in.
getting done. The pellet boiler up at the townhouse needs a new ash motor, and actually Main Energy Systems is warranting it, so it's going to be fixed for nothing. So I'm just waiting for them to get here. They're very busy doing pellet boilers right now, so everybody's putting them in. Price of oil going up, so
Yeah.
so that should be fixed. He said the first or second week of this month, so hopefully it'll get. Still runs. I have a ash motor shut off, and I have to dig them out manually. So, but it doesn't run that much, so it's not too bad. And the air conditioner's taken out of the window up there, so.
Yeah, so now-
Anything?
Nothing. Simple.
Sure.
I'll think of something, but you'll
Sure.
be,
Yeah.
I'll be right over there.
Yeah.
no, you'll be gone by the time I figure it out.
Halfway home.
Short and sweet.
All
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
Jack. All right. Let's move on to the signature file. First item is a yield tax levy for 20-1-2 in the amount of $153.37.
I'll move that we sign that.
Second.
levy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Would I?
And then we have a whole bunch of requests for change in employee compensation. This is fire and rescue annual rate increase for this year that, geez, Jackson just didn't get to us until now. I'm gonna suggest that we,
Can we hold off
that
on
we,
that? Because I don't have to.
yeah, yeah.
Getting jealous.
And I was gonna suggest that if we do it, we do it at our leisure rather than in the meeting. So, for some reason, the annuals that we do, that go into effect at town meeting for the year, didn't happen for fire and rescue.
So this is for
This is for this year.
last year,
This is for this year, for the current year.
right?
So normally they get processed around town meeting time. Every employee that we do an increase on, right, that gets done and submitted.
So have they been being paid at this
No.
rate?
No,
Is this some sort of retroactive thing that's gonna happen?
goes to the first of the year, like everybody else.
Mhm.
Normally it's retroactive to the first of the year, immediately after town meeting. For some reason, they didn't process them until,
So we're looking at retroactive to January of this year?
Right. And I know Kathy was working on a spreadsheet. She probably has a total impact of that someplace.
Yeah, because we gotta figure out what that's gonna,
Yeah,
where that's coming from. And was it budgeted?
it was budgeted, yeah.
Okay, so it should be already in the payroll. I haven't looked at the budget, so.
Right.
I'll take a look. If there's a. And it should be the.
So the money for that should be in the approved line for 2021.
All right, so the firefighters allowance, is that what we're talking about? No.
I would say, just based on where we're at on allowance, that it is not, because
Because none of those lines
are way down, are they? Yeah,
have a significant
yeah.
surplus. So we need to look back at the 2021 budget
Yeah.
and see what was really approved. And you say Kathy's doing a spreadsheet?
She was working on that when I was in the other day. So, Cammie?
Yes.
You want to see if Kathy can come in and
Sure.
chat with us for
Yep.
a minute about that?
And I have a letter from Winnie O'Shaughnessy.
So do
We all
I.
do.
We all do.
Did you get that to the cemetery trustees? or-
We'll have it tomorrow night,
Okay.
such as it may be, as you may know, and Bill wasn't there, but when I explained to the budget committee, we can't get anybody to return a phone call, never mind do any work. And
Oh, as far as maintenance?
yeah, we would love to have some hydro seeding things done out there to try to bring this back.
Right.
But when people won't return our calls, it's a tough game. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Well, as long as we're trying. I mean,
I know it's.
the tone of the letter seemed to present that we weren't trying.
Well, her tone is her tone.
Yeah.
But that, hers alone. We are trying.
What can I do for you gentlemen today?
We just wanted to see your smiling face.
I
We just had you in here. So we have the increased paperwork for the firefighters,
Mm-hmm,
and that's for this year, correct?
correct.
And we're looking at the budget
Yeah,
and trying to figure out it, in looking at the rate of travel in this year's budget. Number one, I don't know how much total money we're talking about.
I
And-
can tell you that. I did a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I
And
know you
what
did.
did we budget for 2021?
Well, it's in
Did we?
there.
No, I know, but we didn't budget this increase.
Oh, yeah.
We did?
Oh, yeah. So, normally they would get that in March, it would be retroactive.
Yeah. No, all I'm saying is, if we budgeted for it, there should be money in the current budget to pay it.
Yeah.
And Bill and I have looked at the numbers, and it doesn't appear as though there's a big surplus.
So this may not be a lot of money, that's. the
Some of
thing,
it's
yeah.
not, you got a couple firefighters that do a lot of hours.
Right,
But you gotta remember, they only get paid once a month, and it's according to the, like, some people's checks is $5. Other people's
Right.
checks are more, like Greenwood.
yeah, so you have a spreadsheet that has a total on it.
Yep, I can pull
If you
that
could
up.
grab that would be.
I will do that.
Would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, that number. Wow. Yeah.
Why,
Why didn't they
how
do
did
it?
this happen?
Right,
Yeah, that's the.
well.
How can we avoid it?
And
Thirty
it's-
seconds.
Yeah, it's happened before.
It's my plumber. He's my plumber.
Hello, Chris.
Hey Chris, we're doing well. How are you?
Not so good. Okay, good. So you're all set. Are you gonna?
I'm gonna swing by tomorrow just to make sure everything's right, and then we'll start Wednesday. Hopefully I have it done by Friday. Oh, it's not cold.
I'm sorry, thanks. We're changing the heating system at my house.
Yeah?
I know I'm gonna have a couple of cold mornings.
Yeah. Not quite. Just relax for a minute. We're in the middle of answering a question that we have, and if we don't get to the bottom of it, we'll forget.
All right.
And-
So, I guess to continue, they didn't notice that they were getting less?
Don't know. I did tell
Yeah,
Kathy the other day,
The-
we need in 2022 to make sure at the beginning of the year that they do the sheets, so that at town meeting, when it's all approved, it's just a matter of signing the increase sheets and getting it in.
Right.
I mean, the whole idea of waiting until town meeting is because it's more money than has been approved the previous year.
Well, I don't know how they would have established the payroll line
Yeah,
without having done that
Right.
exercise.
well, I think he does that, but just because it's in the payroll line doesn't mean that it's actually transferred over into payroll. The way we transfer it to payroll is with these increase sheets.
Right.
So they continue to draw at the old rate until the increase is processed. Now, it is a fair question, and I would wait until the end of October for somebody to figure out that they haven't gotten to it.
Certainly want to avoid it next year
Yeah, absolutely.
and years to come.
Right.
$2,002.89.
Okay.
Okay?
That's the total money we're talking.
Yeah,
And does this come out of the firefighters allowance?
it
line?
does.
Okay. So at the rate of travel then, we're gonna be over in that line this year.
It should be the firefighters' salaries. Yeah, I guess
What
that's
is-
considered an allowance.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, your officers will come out of here,
Right.
which would be Piper, just Piper, I guess, on there.
mhm,
The rest would come out of, I believe, the firefighter allowance.
yeah. So that adds $2,000 to that, which
Mhm.
means that between now and the end of the year, we're gonna go over that number.
Okay.
Right.
So
But,
you may and you may not, all depends on how often they get called out and how many hours they put in.
right.
Right.
So
So
when,
all I can do is.
This takes care of, this won't be paid till the first week of December. That already has November in it, right?
Right.
Payroll. So you only have one more month and
No.
that.
No, this has October,
yeah,
because they get paid after they work, not before they work.
Well, true, you got, then one will go into January, correct?
Right, but
Right.
it's part of this year.
Right.
So,
So you
yeah.
get 2 more months. Yeah.
so let's make a
November,
note,
December.
Yeah,
let's make a note that the next time the fire chief's in, that we have
chat about
Kathy
this,
in,
yeah.
and let's get a system put together that we don't run into this again.
If you want to give that to Cammy, she can hold on to it so she'll remind you
Yeah.
when it comes in.
Thank
That
you.
works? Yeah, any
Yeah.
other questions?
I'm sure there are some, but
Okay.
not at the moment.
All right.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks.
Why? This is just the question.
On this?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
All right, so
Yeah.
you wanna
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Are we comfortable signing, or we have to sign?
That was their
What-
It's
concern.
instant.
Well, what I'm gonna suggest is that we approve signing them, and that we sign them at our leisure, rather than sit here in the meeting and.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we sign the party compensation changes for the fire department.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Come on down, Chris.
Maybe you've got it. Your revenue.
They do it sometimes.
So why don't we go through your regular report, and then we can go on to the budget
Oh,
from there. Or do you not have a regular report this morning?
no. So,
Okay.
I imagine, I think it's going to together probably close.
Well,
If I had something.
let's just go to, let's just go to the budget then. Yeah. The only reason I wanted to go to that first is sometimes we get at the budget, by the time we're done with that, everybody's ready to move on, so, all right. So you have presented us with a request that is up $1,500 over,
For
$1,200.
$1,270.
For 24.
So, which is essentially flat.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
So, but we know that,
But that's before we talk about the mixed paper or any of the other things that we
okay,
talked about.
There's a $6,000 reduction in recycling supervisor. Is that you?
Right,
So what, the 60,000 is Clay's old
that's
rate?
his previous,
And does this accommodate for the 4 point, whatever?
6.
that was my salary decrease from what he was making.
Okay. And is there a step in there?
Right, there is a step in there,
Okay.
the one step.
And did you give any of your other workers steps?
Yes,
You did.
my increase is, not including, I didn't figure in anything because I haven't had an evaluation, I won't have an evaluation until March.
Right.
So after March, when we sit down, you guys give me an evaluation.
And we're justifying the steps for the assistant 1, assistant 2, and assistant 3. How?
I did their working abilities, I did their both machine operators, they're showing up for work, they don't call it sick. They both, work in dangerous areas, they both work on machinery, they both work,
So that's 1 and
every
2.
weekend,
3 is your
per
per
diem.
diems?
Yeah.
Are they getting a step as well?
Yeah, I just did the per diem step as and merit increase. To keep them coming in, give them incentive to work.
okay, so let's take a look at the recycling assistant 3.
Yeah.
Right,
So The budget this year is for 22,000 and change.
Yes.
The
That's-
budget for next year is for 2,300.
That's, I think, a typo. I think that should be 22,300.
Okay,
So we're $20,000 more in our total.
yeah,
No, those 10,000 is what we've spent.
No, we're looking forward to 22.
right. So your submission should be 22,355.
Should be correct.
So now we're up to 475 for a total as opposed to 455.
Yeah.
That gives the three games that one step in front. But yeah.
So 22,355.
That one is a step, but. Step 9, 4, let's see. Put 7. Gotta keep going through. 22.
So you're at, aside from the director of the facility,
Right.
we're looking at a $6,300 increase in wages. Not that much, really.
No.
But year to year, I'm looking at, I think it works out to 4%, 4.2%. Which is, and you get, in all of these numbers, we've got the COLA factored in.
Yes.
Okay. And you've got a $20,000 increase in MSW.
Yes. That was figured in all the figures. In these, both figures in this, these numbers that 106, 130, and the 11,000. I'm sorry, but 106.
Right now, you got, and November, December, probably gonna be a little lighter. But if it were all flatlined, you'd be running a $122,000
Correct.
rate of travel, but
And this is also including the 3% increase that we're gonna have for the new contract. Because in January 1, all the categories go up 3% with the new contract.
the disposal contracts.
Yes. New contract with,
So do you have the 5-year look back? Did she give you that?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So when we're looking at C&D and MSW, so MSW last year, we spent $130,700. We budgeted, and part of that was because there was a period of time when everything went in a compactor, right?
That's what I said.
And so we budgeted less this year at $111,250, but we may very well exceed that based upon an assumed rate of travel. What'd you say, 120?
122.
122. So
So 7, 6 is 4. How many years is this? 6. So it's averaging 4% a year increase. And you're talking about a 3% contractual increase, Chris?
That's what you get for
yeah. But that assumes same tonnage. Right? I mean, budgeting based upon 3% assumes that we're not gonna have growth in the amount we're moving.
Right.
And, now, when we look at, I'm not trying to confuse things, but look at C and D. Of course, it was down last year because what we were just talking about, a lot of it was diverted for a while. But we're at 79,000 right now.
Okay. Yeah, you're just straight lining.
Basically, yeah, I'm trying to gauge with the 6%, pretty much a straight line without too much variance. I'm trying to kind of back on if the town goes to paper,
Yeah.
taking away the paper from the containers.
And is there a market for paper now?
No.
So you haven't really saved anything on your disposal?
Right, we're gonna have to account for the paper disposal when we budget for that with the paper, on the paper side of it, but we're gonna lose the tonnage out of MSW. So we're not gonna pay for that through MSW, but we're gonna have to budget for that through.
Okay, where's the paper gonna show up?
But we're gonna have to budget for that when we,
No, I mean, what, isn't it gonna be on the MSW line?
no, it'll be in the paper when we go to town, the line item for paper.
So we're gonna have a new line?
Yeah, when the town votes to fund the paper, they're gonna have to vote to fund
Okay.
the paper disposal money.
Okay, so let me walk through that. So we're expecting to get the town to vote a warrant article for
Well, they
paper?
voted last year to vote to recycle mixed paper.
Right,
So now they're gonna have to vote to fund,
right. But
Recycling.
so we need that funding mechanism in here.
right,
So we need to add a line.
Right.
So we're not ready for Chris yet.
Right.
so they're gonna need to. we're
So,
gonna need
and
to make a
that'll
line.
be in the budget, not a separate article.
Yeah.
Right,
Because we already went through the article process.
right.
So we need to,
Tom meeting already said we want to do it.
Yeah.
So we're not, at this point, rolling into the budget, going through the regular budget process is where we need to be.
so,
So,
So-
we need to do with that.
well, what we need to do is get Kathy back in here and tell her we need to put a line on here. But we also need to adjust or in your figuring, did you adjust the MSW for the reduction of the paper?
Well, I can figure that out with the paperwork I have.
Okay, so the MSW line is gonna be less,
Mm-hmm.
and the paper line is gonna push it back up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that's how we gotta look at it, I think.
Mhm.
So we need to. The rest of it,
Yes.
I'm looking at it, looks
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah, the
straightforward.
rest of your budget seems, I don't see anything that's wildly out one way or the other.
No. We just need to get that new line created and
Yeah.
adjust the figures to
Yeah.
match.
And I'd like to, if we're gonna go through that exercise, I'd like to compare revenue to expense on the C and D,
Yeah.
just to see how we're doing on that.
Sure.
But, you know, one of the reasons that I focus in on the disposal cost is because the wild card always is how much we actually take in. You know what the pricing's gonna be, but it's the tonnage that determines how much we actually expense. And, if we're off in what we budget on workers, we have some control over that by changing up hours and that sort of thing, but we don't turn away stuff coming in the door. So, and as we go down through and look at some of the other disposal cost items, is the cost of disposal for electronics going to be the same as it was this year? For glass, for other,
Glass and plastic went up 3% across the board.
okay?
Construction down 3% across the board.
So your budget for glass disposal is down because the amount of glass we have coming in is down. Is that what I'm reading here? So if you look at your glass disposal budget, I know I'm jumping around. This year we have $4,500. For 2022, you're requesting $4,000. We've only spent $2,400 out of that, right? So that's why you anticipate that the total tonnage of glass is going to remain depressed a little bit.
Correct, we only shipped out 2 containers of glass.
Yep.
So we're down, even though it's the price to get rid of it is going up, we haven't had as much.
Yep. Yep.
So in defense of, I'm sorry, Bill.
Go ahead.
In defense of your budget, you've got 0 spent on recycling awareness. I'm assuming you're gonna come to the budget committee with some sort of argument. If we're gonna get into paper, we need to get into awareness, so we're gonna spend some money.
And that was, and part of that was this year for hazardous waste days. We had leftover signs from last year, so we didn't have to have new stuff printed. And so we saved money that way.
I'm concerned about the equipment maintenance line. You got budgeted $5,000, you spent $560.
Well, that's, we're waiting for Atlanta recycling to come next week.
Okay.
And that's gonna be, that'll be spent a week.
All right.
They're gonna maintain all the compactors in a
And
week.
we've got nothing spent on fuel and propane.
So,
That seems a little odd.
yeah, we're waiting for the,
As I remember from the past, these are items that Clay always did at the end of the year, right? You know, November, December, the maintenance and the fuel.
Mowing, same thing. I know we got mowed.
yeah, we got moved a bunch of times, but it was,
So there are 2 different mowings,
Yeah.
all right? There's the regular mowing that goes with building maintenance, right? And we've spent $3,000 on that this year. Is that correct? Or we spent $3,000 outside maintenance. And then there's the mowing that's the big tractor mowing of the closed landfill.
The mowing line item is for the landfill,
Right,
which is what we do to keep the landfill breathing.
And
right.
that's been mowed,
That's been mowed, and we will be mowed again.
but it's
All right.
not, it's not reflected.
But we don't have any money
Here.
charged against it,
It should be one charge,
okay?
and then we have,
So did you submit the,
that's, Carl can pay one time for that.
okay, so make a note, you're gonna be meeting with Kathy. That's an area that needs to get posted. You need to,
It was at one time, but things have been switched around because
Well, what I recall is that all the mowing, regular mowing, landfill mowing was being charged against the landfill line. So it was way over.
right,
And so they journaled about the regular mowing, but it looks like you journaled everything out.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, we need to get that adjusted so that the mowing that Cory does for you goes against the building outside maintenance, and the mowing of the landfill goes under the transfer
So
station.
when we're looking at these costs, we can look at it and say, okay, you had 2 mowings that cost X. Is that a good number for next year?
right.
Or do we need to, is the mowing guy gonna charge more?
Right.
Oh, no, so I think it's even on here right now.
Yeah. So. Do you want us to talk to Kathy with you, or do you want to do that on your own?
I think I can talk to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, just don't let her tell you that we can't add a line,
Right.
because we can.
and I have a employee, I want to just get this to you, we need to do it entirely.
You have a new per diem?
Yeah. An extra guy would be a good one to have, just in case. I just might know, you might know that he was the county guy, good guy.
Yeah.
While Chip's looking that over, I'd like to get an update, if I can. You reported that the water quality that you folks have up there was such that you can't use it in your eyes or anything like that. Any progress on?
No, I'm gonna have another test done, we, for some reason can't get any good results back. So I'm gonna have another test done and send another test out.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
We're having the same problem that many of us are having, getting any response from people and getting people to do things.
right. Yeah,
Okay,
send out 2 other tests and they go into this black hole and they don't seem to come back.
Hmm.
I don't know where that black hole goes, but
I'd like
it
to.
doesn't seem to ever come back.
Thank you.
So you're looking to add this person as a per diem?
I just had him on the call list because
Okay.
our per diem seems to be fading.
Mhm.
Well, some of them are gonna age out on you, whether you
Yeah.
like it or not.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So While a guy's reading that, remind me what warrant articles you're looking for.
The two really right now were the pickup truck was the main one that I was looking for, and the 50,000 for capital reserve for that are the two main ones. And the other one was just the one that's been coming along was the CIP for the replace the compactor, which has been in the chute for 3 or 4 years for compactor too.
Yeah.
And that was,
So when you come back
that
with
was
your,
coming up for this year.
when you come back with your budget, if you could establish the market rate on what's a backhoe cost, what's a compactor cost.
Yeah.
So if with the compactor, we may find ourselves replacing it, but we may also start doing another capital reserve, which I don't think is a bad idea. So, but we need to kind of figure out how much money we're looking at.
I think the compactor was about 30-ish.
Yeah, so if you get those two numbers, then we can
That'll help.
plug it in.
That was going to be about 190,000, but I don't think we're in the market for that for 10 years probably. That one that we had will last a while.
Yeah, but $190,000, that's $200,000, even if you're looking at 5 years. You know, you're not looking at an enormous warrant article into a capital reserve for 5 years. Then you got some value to it when you're getting rid of it.
I'm a big fan of capital reserve funds.
Yeah, we don't do it enough, but we've been struggling through these big projects. And
I know.
we need to get rid of those and
Gotta-
be in good shape.
And then it's establish some reserves so we don't get the big bumps.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Thank you very much. I'll get that income numbers back with us.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Good. All right, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Is this a new police that we have in front of us? or-
Yeah.
It used to be.
Yes. So.
Yeah, still 50,000.
Well, if Jen is available, maybe we can
Yeah, I was gonna mention
grab her.
that.
Yeah, rather than.
Sure. Yep.
Long time for.
Lead right in.
Great. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you.
Our favorite time of year.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Ouch.
So. So you're looking to go from a bottom line of 86,000 to one of almost 97,000 for 2020. 22.
Yep, there is, the main increases are, well, the salary because of the COLA, and I did do one step increase for Priscilla and me. We also, next year, we have 3 elections instead of 1, which also will increase basically supervisors, ballot clerks, printing and advertising. We have, so that's all in there. I've increased our town clerk expenses as well because we now have to purchase our own absentee ballot envelopes, which is a new thing. Typically, the state had provided those before. So now we have to, these are those envelopes, we have to now order those. So I added a couple $100 in town clerk expenses for that, so.
So there's $1,300 for state fees for vital statistics.
Yeah, I don't really understand why that's in expenses. We do actually get money for that, and then it goes out, you know, so.
So we
It's like-
got revenue come in.
Yeah, well.
We have revenue, but yeah.
Right, but it's in there because we have to have authority to spend money,
Right.
regardless of where it's coming from.
Right, yeah.
So, not unlike some of the things that we charge money for at the transfer station, but we pay to get rid of.
Right.
We have to budget the money to pay
Pay it,
to,
right.
to authorize the expenditure of funds, regardless of whether somebody.
So we do
gives it.
get money to pay for the vital statistics. There's just that additional.
Mhm.
What's the other thing? Dinner expense.
So that is assuming that we are back to normal. We basically pay $220 to, I believe, the Tufton Historical Society has typically provided dinner for the election workers on the night of an election. So, which, you know, we didn't have that this year. Everybody had to bring their own, so that's what that's.
So in addition to paying the counters and the workers exorbitant hourly rate, we also give them dinner.
Yes.
Feed them all.
Yeah.
I don't know why it would be helpful, but it always would be, and every year I say the same thing.
What's
It would
that?
be helpful to look at the revenue sheet along with the expense sheet. Do you have that with you?
Not that I can grab it quickly. I mean, I can grab last year's revenue is
Yeah.
you can just grab that.
Because we're, ouch. So the last time we had 3 elections was 2018, was it?
2018, yep. So, we did add the assistant moderators this year. So, in 2020, that's why those, well, I mean, in 2020, we had 3 elections, including, we had 4 elections because we had the primary as well.
Right.
So, yeah, so 2018 was 3. Do you want the revenue numbers, or are you looking?
Yeah, do you have those right there?
Yeah, so, here, I'll let you look at
So you received for 2020, $2,500 for vital statistics. And the cost you're putting on here is 15, I think.
Yeah, so they get, for $15, the state gets $8, we get 7, and any additional one, the state gets 5, we get 5. So, or 10, the state gets 10, we get 5.
No, 2020. So, 12%. I'm just trying to compare revenue to
Oh, yeah.
expense. And, because you're looking at a 12% increase year over year. And if we look at the last time we had 2 elections, you had a 9% increase. So.
Okay.
But I don't think in 2018 we had had a COLA of any
Right.
Right.
dimension.
Right.
It was back
Yeah, I
then.
think
I
that's,
think we were at 1.2% or something like that.
right.
I'm ready to make a motion.
All right.
I'll move that we approve the town clerk's budget for 4140 in the amount of $96,871.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Jen.
Thank you very
Jen.
much,
Now,
appreciate it.
you mentioned earlier that your printer wasn't working.
It's still not working.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you heard the rather angry person up front, but she was here Saturday morning and I couldn't print anything.
Yeah,
And now she came back and I still can't print anything. So currently the state and Lakes Region Computer are working together to try to get this fixed. But so
It's
in my
working.
irritation, I called Clerkworks
Yeah.
Clerkworks to find out how much their program costs.
yeah. All right, so it was working fine Friday, but not Saturday.
So what happened was there was a Java update, and for some reason, their computers automatically update, which I said on Saturday, like, can't you just turn that off? So when I spoke to the state, the problem is that the map program, state program, does not work with the updated Java program. So they need to go back to
Get
the
it, right.
old one, and he's been trying to fix that since Saturday morning. And as of when I came in here, it still wasn't fixed. So it's just, I feel bad because people are coming in. It's the end of the month, it's the beginning of the month, and I can't print anything at this point. So, but they're both working on it.
Okay.
So just so you know what's going on.
All right.
Thank
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks.
It would appear that the cemetery trustees are not the only people under the gun.
Everybody is. you know.
Technology is great when it works,
Yeah,
isn't it?
oh yeah, it is.
When it
It
doesn't.
is.
Oh, Lord.
All right,
Hmm.
so let's go to 4130 executive.
Yeah.
Do you want Kathy?
Not yet. So is the administrative assistant, that's Kathy. So,
Yes,
so we have a 10% increase in that line for, was she making that much more money than? Diane?
no, I don't think so.
I thought they were pretty comparable.
Yeah,
And the administrative secretary is Cammy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a negotiated salary, as I remember, was it not?
Actually, according to 2021, the admin secretary was just one step above the admin assistant.
Yeah. So this is one,
88,000.
one step for each, that's, I think.
Right, that's what this says, you know.
Well, it's a $12,000 increase in those combined
Yep.
lines. And
Uh,
7% for the whole budget.
12,000.
Is it not 12?
No, it's not 12, right? So it's, I can add it up,
Closer to 8.
yeah.
Oh, okay, I was going from 2020. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yep.
Just
So
quick
we're
and
talking about 93.5 to 100 and call it 101.
Yeah. So that's 7.5%. I don't remember, I remember the discussion where we said we're gonna talk about steps after we do the COLA.
Yes,
I don't remember having a discussion about steps,
we didn't.
and yet I believe the steps included in this.
Yes,
Who makes that decision?
We do.
we do.
It's not made by the bureaucratic miasma that is government.
Well,
I mean, I know with Canny, when we started your payroll, there was a step after a certain point in time that we agreed to. So you're getting paid exactly the same amount that we started you at? Okay. But we had a discussion about,
Maybe I'm in the same position as everybody else and I haven't gotten it yet.
after review, well, there's always a, what's that period of time in the beginning called?
so the period from the beginning of the year until town meeting, nobody gets any change in compensation.
Right.
Because the new budget isn't approved yet. But that's what these forms are.
Right.
And that we in arrears with the fire department at this point is it's retroactive to the beginning of the year from town meeting day. So I guess to move beyond those two questions, I think what she did is she put the standard COLA and step in that we budget for
Annually.
annually, right? And that's what that reflects. But if we move beyond that and look at some of the other lines in here, so we budgeted this year 3,000 for clerical assistant, and we've spent 700 and some dollars. So, and 3,000 is more than we ever spent before. Last year we spent 2,200.
Right.
So I don't remember specifically why we were up so much last year and why we
Well, I think at some point in time, or one point in time, we had talked about utilizing the police assistant in
To do
clerical
other stuff.
operations.
Other things,
Yeah.
yes.
Right,
Yeah, to work for
right,
Selectmen's office.
yep.
That didn't happen. So
So,
you think we should
all
reduce
right.
that line?
So where does the budget committee secretary go? Where does that get charged?
That gets charged out of here.
All right, so maybe that's where the, goes into the clerical assistant.
Right, we've been paying Jane, so she's gotten $773, I guess.
So, if that's what that is, yeah. And,
Yeah, because there's no separate budget for the budget committee.
right,
There's a separate budget for planning,
right,
and you've got a line item for secretary.
yep.
I mean, I don't know if it needs to be $2,000, I guess is that the bottom line question here.
So, if the $2,200 we spent last year, if that was all budget committee secretary,
No,
it wasn't. That was other stuff.
yeah.
So, okay, I don't remember.
Well, the ZBA has it.
They've,
Are they?
they're under
under
planning and
planning?
zoning, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Um,
what Jane does for the Conservation Commission
Right.
is under conservation.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I don't have a problem if you want to reduce that line, but I think we still need to be
well, I'm just raising the question here.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and it may be that that's a reasonable number. So most of the increase we're looking at is step and COLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a question on step.
All right.
On this sheet, for administrative assistant, it says grade 14, step 8. On this sheet,
Right.
What is that sheet?
read it, Bill.
For 14, step 6.
Yes, why do we have a 2-step jump from one sheet to another?
Because we're going from one employee that was at one rate to another employee that was at a different rate.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
but if we do that, okay,
Mhm.
it's still a 2-step jump, she was at
I
14.
guess, are we gonna have to go into non-public on this?
Yes, I think we are.
I think we are.
Okay,
Because we gotta have people out here, we gotta see what, I mean, I think what we need to have clear in our head is this is what you're being paid in 2021, and this is what our expected payroll is for
Right.
2022.
yes,
And what does that include? It includes the 4.6 COLA, absolutely.
Mhm.
But is it also a step increase, which we haven't talked
so we
about
should,
yet?
put this aside for the time being?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Our never-ending effort to get nothing done.
I think we're very good at it.
All right. So,
Do we have police yet?
we're up to police, but I don't see Chief Shigori.
I'll go grab it.
So did he have his nose to this? Did you have your ear to the door out there just waiting for somebody to say Chief
No.
Shigori? Good morning, Chief.
Morning.
Did I see the shredder today?
Yes.
So all the shred stuff is,
So far, there's probably more.
okay.
It took about 30 boxes and 31 hard drives. So we got some of the hard drives that were
Yeah,
to go from there to.
and that included boxes of stuff from
Yep.
regular stuff, so, okay. Thank you.
Sorry, did I not
I have that.
You do have one?
I do.
Okay. Oh,
I
yeah, you
did-
do,
I did
okay.
too, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's back. On the back. Okay.
What's the question I had? We're getting closer, chief. But conference and training, you got $3,000 increase, what's that all about? We went from 11,850 to 14,950, so it's $3,100.
I don't. No. Well, I cut it back from 18.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but you're up $3,100 from last year. You've only spent $7,000 so far this
I
year.
didn't print out the detailed thing.
Okay,
I can look at that and get back.
okay.
Part of it was the taser went up.
I'm sorry?
Part of it was the taser went
Taser.
up. More
Taser
expensive
costs.
than what we had before.
And that's in conference and training?
Yep.
It's not in equipment?
I don't have a regular, just general equipment line.
Okay.
That was
Well,
one of the
You
increases.
got the new equipment line, which is also up $2,500.
Except it's every year. Right, that's for the radios.
So the rate, the taser is an annual maintenance kind of thing, right? Or annual
Essentially, yes.
license, right?
What they do is they take 5 years and they take the cost and they break it down over 5 years and they include so many cartridges and battery.
Yeah.
The batteries for that are rechargeable. Yeah, those are rechargeable batteries, so they're not included in that. But it's a whole setup for the, they basically you pay a fifth of it every year. And if, we can always cancel at some point. I know that's probably about 1,200 of that 4,000. I don't know what the rest is. Without going back over to the, I mean, I can go get it real quick, it won't take me long. I just had it up on my computer.
So you think it's $3,000 more?
No, I said it's like $1,300 more. That's why I said I don't know what the rest is. I'll have to look at it.
Okay.
I actually think we can probably, so I think there's 3,000 for ammunition. We can probably take that out. Because
I mean, I don't
money
have
this
a
year.
problem if we can defend it, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at 11,850 last year and you spent $7,000. And now we want to go to $15,000, just,
Right, I know that's part of it. Part of it wasn't spent because of some events were canceled, training was canceled, a lot of
Yeah.
things. So that's why some of it wasn't spent, too. So COVID canceled some stuff.
So the last pre-COVID year, you spent $10,500, which was 2019.
Yep,
And we had 11,800 budgeted this year.
Yep.
And if we,
yeah.
I mean, so if you've got some chunks in there that you know are up, then that's good justification for why it has to go where it is.
well, I know this year, it was hard to get into any training because there wasn't.
That's why I'm
Yeah,
comparing back to 2019, right? Because, you know, training was down last year
Right.
as well, so.
and I know that taser's more expensive, but I also know I'll have some money this year, I can take care of the ammunition for next year. Before then, too, so.
Chip, anything else you want to see additional detail on before we send Chief back to pull one thing and say, oh, by the way, go get another one for us?
Well, I think you gotta pull the detail. There are no steps in here, right? Increases? Okay. The only other detail I'd be looking for would be on the new equipment.
No equipment, I gave you that, it was the,
Did you?
yeah, I told you before, it was the cruiser radios. Actually, scratch the portable radio, that's out, but it's 2 cruiser radios. We have, the one in the Charger is half the, I won't say half, a significant number of the display diodes don't work, and
Okay, I'm good.
And that-
I'm looking at track record
Yeah.
on this, back 5 years. So if you can justify it, that you're gonna be at the budget meeting along with me, so I'm fine with that. I just didn't want, so the conference and training line, we need to dissect that. That's all I'm looking for at this point in time. If you don't, unless somebody else is looking for something. So can you?
I think I'm good.
I'm good. Can you get that for us now so we can approve this, or?
Sure.
That's enough for.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to,
We'll move stuff along. Yeah.
well, we gotta have something for those guys to do next Tuesday.
So, you have on the list here other conservation, but I don't see it in our, I mean, it's a nothing budget, but it's, and I know it's done. I mean, I know the input's in.
I have other,
That's, other conservation is ag and milfoil, that's all, 4619. But I don't see the budget worksheet on that, so I don't know.
I don't even have it on the agenda.
No.
Oh, it's over there.
It's on
Okay,
the action
All right.
items.
Okay, that's why I didn't
sheet.
see it.
So,
Makes sense.
yep,
Isn't
so I didn't see it in any of the
I
paperwork.
can grab it.
Huh?
I can grab it.
Ask Diane or Kathy if it's ready.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get it out of here.
and we've done financial administration? I don't think so.
No,
Okay, so we've
no, we have not.
done that reval. Did we do legal?
We did legal quite a while ago, I believe. That was one of the
Personal
early ones we did.
administration,
Yeah, I think the budget committee's already done it.
Planning and zoning,
We haven't done that.
that should be pretty good.
Yep.
And
So,
then,
and I know that the planning board input for that, other than the salary thing, was all done a while ago, so I don't know. I don't know.
other general government, we did that, working on the police, ambulance, we've done that, fire. And solid waste, we'll get that.
So what I was looking for from Diane, but we didn't get, is a simple spreadsheet that shows the bottom line budgets in each of the areas, what we budgeted, what we have for this year, what we have approved for next year, and then it's just easy to say, look at what's left to do and how much total we're at, but it doesn't come out immediately smart. It has to be a quick spreadsheet, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And I remember we've had this conversation,
It's just easier,
A few
it's
times.
easier for us to track it that way, you know?
and get some idea of what direction you're going, because I don't want to go back and have to review all these budgets over again because we're finding ourselves
Right, exactly.
somewhere in outer
Exactly.
space.
Right.
Or when we get all done, we're like, oh, well, we're there? Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing holds true with the warrant articles. We're gonna be here in December looking at any number of things that are gonna
Right.
surprise us, but we need to, at that point, have our operating budget fixed.
Nailed down.
Figure out
Yeah.
where,
Have a good sense for how much room we have and what we're gonna be comfortable with
yeah.
for other things besides
Because
the
if your
operating.
operating budget's up 5 or 6%, then your warrant articles can't be up another 5 or 6%.
Yeah.
You gotta,
It's gonna hurt.
well, you gotta balance them
Yeah,
somehow.
yep.
And we've got brand new people, like this lovely lady. So when we ask for something,
Yep.
She's not there a lot sometimes, I think.
Well, I asked Diane.
In my own defense, I've only been here 2 months.
No, I know, I was defending that.
Thank you, I
So we go
appreciate
ahead,
that.
All right,
So this is,
this other conservation, 4619.
okay,
So,
ouch. What happened there?
on what? On milfoil?
Oh,
So what happened on milfoil is we put a placeholder in because we're transitioning to
right,
taking money out of the expendable trust fund.
right.
So this $5,000 represents what we're getting back in grant reimbursement from the state,
Okay.
all right? So, and,
So
I
the
don't-
actual
I don't-
out of town.
so
funds
this-
is
this-
$1,100.
right, so this $5,076 that we're spending this year, almost all of that is money that's coming back from the state as revenue.
Okay,
And the rest of the expense is going into the
yeah.
expendable fund. So I don't know what it's gonna be for next year because we won't have a plan until about the end of the year. But I figured 5,000 is a good number to
I'll
stick
make a
it in.
motion that we approve other conservation budget 4619 for
Second.
$6,175.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right,
Back to Mr. Chief.
So, actually went back a couple of years to see what had changed. What had changed was a couple things. One, ammunition I'd gone up on. I added a little bit, I added to tuition too, because I thought we'd be doing more, we did more this year. And we did online, which cost us, it does like $1,700 for our access to our online training, search and seizure, and a whole number of other classes. I went up like $100 on the Power DMS, just because I suspect they're gonna ask for a little more money. That's our
what is
soft, huh?
what is that?
That's my training management and document management system. It's so my policies, as I enact them, or I put them into this system. It's a cloud-based system. People get tested on them. I know when they log in and read the policies, they have to electronically sign them. I can test them on them. I can do tests on, like our firearms are in there, firearms trainings, the online training of it, or, written tests I can put in there. And then I know when they did it and if they passed and all that, so that's what it is.
So year to year.
Yeah.
Justify the $3,000 for me. I don't know where you came up with it yet.
Part of it was Taser went up about $1,200.
Okay.
And I put up this a little bit, and I put up about another 1,000 on. I did 3,000 for ammunition. I used to do about 1,600, so this is 1,500.
So we need $3,000 worth of ammunition?
We could.
Well, I know we could, but I mean, you had $1,500 and you have had that over.
So
the
if we
first
send
time.
somebody to the academy, it's probably gonna cost us about it's probably gonna cost us about $600 in ammunition.
Mhm.
That's just for that one person to go if they have no problems. Then there's others of us that, like, the sergeant just went down and recertified as a firearms instructor.
Mhm.
That was, again, frangible ammunition that we have to buy, it's much more expensive. Then there's our regular training, then our duty stuff, we go through probably another 500 in duty stuff a year, so 1,500 is not, under today's prices, a lot.
And historically, you've been spending around $1,500 a year?
I have not, that's why I said I know we can cut that back, I said we
Okay.
could, because for next year, because right now, I think the only thing we have to buy is some, because I was looking at it, I think the only thing we have to do is buy some rifle ammunition, if we can get it now.
Does it go bad? Does ammunition go bad?
No, but we use it.
Really?
Well, it does go bad, yeah. So the stuff we carry on us, our duty stuff, we replace every year.
What do you do with it?
We shoot it for the next year for some of our training. So we use some of that for training, but we have to shoot more than that for our training. In other words, we carry
All right,
like, see now, 17 times 3,
51.
51, 50, we carry 52 rounds on us. We have to shoot 72 to qualify rounds, so that's where our duty rounds go. But yes, because we go inside, outside, exposed to rain, temperature changes, the stuff we carry on us and in our cars, we change every year.
I don't know.
That's kind of the recommendation
I don't know
thing.
the gun. I don't know anything about
I'm a firearms nut. I don't need any explanations.
it. All right, so how much can we reduce the $14,950 line?
You could probably take about 3,000 off of that for the ammunition, because I know
Okay.
we've got some, and what I
So,
don't have, I'll buy this fall. That's what I said.
Let's make it $12,000, maybe make it easy. I don't know, but that stuff doesn't make it easy. All right, so we're gonna reduce the total figure by $3,000, so we're down to $457,764. I'm good with that. You good with that, chief?
Yeah, just clarity on the 5th officer. What is the plan on that then?
We're gonna develop a plan.
Okay. There's nothing in the budget. I mean, it's
No,
not just my
But you
40.
have to understand from our perspective,
Yeah,
or from my perspective, they can speak for themselves. This is the first year in 5 years or more that there's actually been a cost of living increase. There's fuel increases, all this other stuff. So Bill and I and Guy were talking while you were away, that we need to look at how this budget is tracking, because it's like the old days when you really have to, when there is inflation, if you
Yeah.
will. So not knowing how the budget's tracking and not knowing how the warrant articles are tracking in October, we're gonna develop a plan for your officer. That's all I can tell you.
So the fact that we got 4.6 as a
yeah,
inflation this year affects other things we do. I
yeah.
mean, every year we have some tweaking to the budget.
Right.
Some years we're fortunate that overall we can hold the line to where it was. When we present the budget and the warrant, total warrant to the voters, it's going to reflect some increases in cost. But a year when we have something like we're having with the cost of living this year, to throw other additional costs on top of it just becomes that much more of a,
Yeah, we have to get everybody used to the idea that we're now back to reality. So if the budget's gonna go up 5%, that's the cost of doing business as a town government. But if you're pushing the budget, even one budget up by 10 or 12%, it throws everything out. I don't know if that explains it, but what we need to do is we need to walk, and then we'll start moving forward on the officer. I don't think I'm ready to say you're never gonna get another officer. I'm more ready to say that we need to come up with a workable plan given the current economics, if you will. And I think we can do it. I'm not ready to put in, as the selectman representative to the budget committee, I'm not ready to put a new officer in this year's budget. So. And we haven't,
Well, my concern is if it's not in the budget, it's not gonna happen. That's what my thought is, because you're not presenting it to the budget committee. You're not giving it to the taxpayers, giving them notice of it.
Well, we hire people all the time without asking the taxpayers.
Well,
right.
I think this is more significant cost-wise, and
it's a more significant hire, that's for certain.
and I think,
But it's not out of our purview to do that sort of thing either.
oh, you certainly can do it, but I think makes it much tougher to sell down the road and continue it if you don't have it in there.
Right.
And we're talking not only the salary, but you're talking, health benefits, and you're talking 33% to the retirement system, which goes in another line item. So it's not just the $30,000 or $40,000 was in my budget, it's,
Okay.
Right.
probably another 25,000, no more than that, it's probably like another 40,000 in another budget too, so.
But, I
By
mean,
not having it, I
we
think-
could go, you and I could go back and forth all day long. You're also looking for 2 cruisers. 2 cruisers and another officer,
No, it's
that's
not.
not gonna happen. That's a budget buster. So, you knowing that's my feeling on that issue, now we negotiate, okay, where do we wanna go? How important is this versus that?
Well, to be clear, I mean, one of the things, I know Guy, you mentioned the mileage on the Charger, 136,000. But we idle a lot more than the average civilian car does. And Ford engineers have looked at that, of the hours, and say each hour is about 32 miles. We've got 6,000 hours on that car. That puts it closer to 180,000.
Yeah.
So, and it is rusting like down towards the rocker panel from that where it's, so.
I'm going to take offense, if I may.
Yeah.
You're gonna take
The use of the word civilian. You are not in the military. You are a
Okay,
civilian,
you're right.
just like everyone else.
I apologize for that.
Thank you.
I didn't mean it that way. I meant as in the average personal vehicle. How's that better?
Much. Thank you,
Sorry
Chief.
about that. I didn't mean it that way. I recognize that too. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that reminder because I do not feel we're in the military. Although at times you could say paramilitary, but
Let's try not to go there either.
Let's not.
At any rate, I think we're all working towards similar goals, but there's a lot of moving parts, and as there always is.
Mhm.
So, appreciate your effort. I'm ready to vote on this if you are.
Okay?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna move the police department budget 4210 for $457,764.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And hopefully, and I realize your schedule maybe not mixes well with our schedule, but the budget committee's meeting next Tuesday night.
okay. No, that should
So
be
if you
fine.
have I'd like to have you there,
Yeah.
but if something conflicts with that, that's fine too.
Chief, do we need a short non-public with you? Personnel update?
We have one officer out right now on, so,
Okay.
and the possibility of another anytime could be out too, so.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a non-public or? do you
It's up
wanna-
to you guys, what you wanna do.
We're gonna do a non-public
Huh?
anyways.
Yeah, we are. So, we can, why don't we do a quick non-public with the chief right now while he's here? And just so we're all on the same page with what's going on. And, working on it.
Okay.
We need a motion and a roll call vote. eh?
Yes, we do, yep. So I'll entertain a motion for non-public for personnel.
I make a motion that we go into non-public to discuss personnel.
I'll second.
Marcus, and yes?
Albie, yes.
Pike, yes?
Voted and got rid of the.
Right.
Right.
Good.
We did. All right, I think we've got all the budgets for today done, right?
The executive, we did?
No,
I don't think so.
Right. Right, you're right.
We're going to go non-public with that.
We're gonna go into non-public before we deal with that, right?
And we voted on other conservation.
We did.
Yes.
So that's
Got it.
and Diane walked in before we went non-public, I don't know, was she bringing you something?
She was going to update the
Oh,
sheet that she gave you
okay.
with the budgets that have been approved.
Oh, all right. So,
okay. So do we want to get? All right.
So,
it's up to you.
let's see, action items, email on local fiscal recovery funds and how they're to be considered. That was an issue that we talked about during revenue last week. So their unanticipated revenue not included when you're estimating it, when you're setting the tax rate. So that was one of the questions we had last week, if that needed to be in there. And did you see this? I guess there was several copies of this in here.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Right, we had asked her to.
Yep.
Yep, yep.
All right. We have an email regarding isolated Class 5 road, Canaan Road extension or Wildwood Estates. It's come to my attention through a process of error checks. This is from the state, that you have a segment of Class 5 road where access and use does not lend itself to a Class 5. And it does not support the function of Class 5 roads not accessible by other town-maintained roads. The only access is from Class 6 within your town. And it suggests that we submit a change from Class 5 to Class 6. So it's
Who is this person?
this is Wayne Charette at the Bureau of Planning and Community Assistance at DOT, State DOT.
Well, tell them my
So-
own business.
Well,
I'm sorry.
he's updating his GIS system. So it is, my recollection is it is a maintained road, but it's not accessible from maintained roads in the town of Tuftonboro. And I think it's done by agreement with Ossipee.
But it is accessible in the summer months,
Right.
so it's not
But it's not accessible from a maintained road, is what they're saying.
no, it is. Oh, the
For-
section you're accessing is Class 6.
Right,
Okay, I got what you're saying.
Right, so we have it listed as a Class 5 road, maintained road, but it's maintained by agreement with another town because that's
Right.
where the regular access is from. So I guess we need to respond to this guy that
And
it's maintained by agreement with Ossipee. Yeah, it is a maintained road.
Seems to blow up.
So I'm glad there's somebody watching those things.
really? I know Bill Stockman watches that particular.
Yes, he does. Yeah, well, and he's been good about keeping the
Right.
Class 6 section open. All right. Email from Jeb Bradley regarding the Gopher grant opportunities. All CARES Act funds must be encumbered by December 31st, 2021. And the fiscal committee also approved a $12.5 million matching grant program funded through the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, which provides up to $50,000 for your town in reimbursement for safety and emergency equipment investments. 90-10 matching program, with the state providing 90% reimbursement of qualifying safety and emergency equipment purchases up to the $50,000 for each municipality. So I know we just bought those radios that we didn't get a grant for under the regular fund, but I'm wondering if we would be eligible for this $50,000 as a matching grant
Well,
under that.
The chief of police just gave us more than He has radios as well
Right.
that he's proposing to buy. I mean, do they just send you the 50 grand and you,
Well, I'm sure you have to paperwork it, all right? It's a 90-10 grant, so they'll pay 90% of the cost of whatever it is.
Right.
But I'm gonna suggest, get this to Chief Shiguri and Chief Thompson so that they know about it. Then whatever is under the CARE Act, and I don't know if we have any CARES Act funds left or not, but if we do, we want to make sure they're encumbered before the end of the year so that they're available. And what it says on CARES Act funding is available to towns and organizations, including $3.2 million for food security, $4 million for senior centers, $6 million for homeless shelters, $11.5 million for long-term care. I don't know if we have anything that fits in any of those, but that's only like half of the $39.5 million that is approved under the CARES Act. So,
speaking of food security, we should be getting, I don't know why we haven't got that yet, the welfare budget. We approved that, did we?
we did not, I don't, well, I don't know. So,
I'm not sure that we did.
This one here. So,
let's see. This is the one that she gave me earlier that had.
Well, her update may show us. She's gonna put the approved budgets in there, right?
Yeah, I'm not so much interested in what the budget committee approved the budgets are. I'm interested in what we
What we
submitted.
did, okay.
Yeah. So-
direct assistance,
Yeah.
4442. That should be pretty straightforward. We should have the health agency's submissions by now, I would hope, but
But we don't. So, and direct assistance is done.
That's done?
Yep.
All the way through the,
and library's done,
library is.
Yes.
done.
patriotic purposes is done, I guess the
Yeah.
donations are done.
Yeah.
Do we have the conservation budget yet?
No,
Okay.
we don't. And we don't have the planning zone, right? So,
We need both of those.
yeah,
What is it, November 1st today?
so how do you guys feel about a short work session on Friday to look at those budgets? I'm happy
No
to,
problem for me.
I'm happy to come in and bang through those and get more on the budget committee's table. And if they're ready to deal with them, fine. If they're not, then they can just let them,
They'll be there when you need them.
yeah, let them hang.
Yeah, let's clean them all up. I can do that, 9:30 is easy.
9:30.
Perfect.
Work session 9:30 on Friday.
No issue at all.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, I have been working on the printouts that you
Yeah.
were looking for. I got 2 versions.
Okay,
I toyed around with the Excel,
yeah,
and I had to do some work on it. It didn't give me grand total, so I had to plug in some formulas, but I can add columns for information that you're looking for that's not already there, like, you know, what's up, what's down.
yeah, no, that's,
Or, you know, I know some board members like to know what the difference is that the Board of Selectmen voted on versus the Budget Committee.
this, I think, for my purposes, will be fine.
The Excel, you prefer the Excel?
Yes, yeah,
It's not as busy looking.
well, and
It's
it's,
easier to read, I guess.
right,
But what I can do is, as you go through budgets, and approve them as you go, I can update that spreadsheet.
That'd be true, that'd be
You know.
terrific, yep. Yep. So as I look at budgets on here, the ones that we haven't dealt with yet are financial administration,
Yeah,
personnel administration. Those are two big ones.
I thought we did personnel.
No,
we
because,
we signed the health agreement.
right, right.
Plus, we were waiting for the consumer price index,
Right.
which came in
Planning and zoning,
mid-August.
government buildings.
Government buildings, we haven't done that one. Let's see. Docks and bridges, solid waste, we know we gotta work some more on that. Health agencies, do I have that?
And those
How close
submissions
do you
aren't in
want
yet?
Health agencies, I did some calling last, 2 weeks ago for those people agencies we didn't get budgets from. I'm gonna have to review that list again to see where
Yep.
we're at again.
So, don't have conservation. Did you get conservation submission yet?
No,
Okay, so,
I'm sure they've worked on it, right? Conservation
Yes,
Commission?
they are.
So,
I'm surprised it hasn't been submitted yet, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
yep. And we talked about planning and zoning, right?
Right.
But, and that's, we don't have that one yet. But
So
I know that planning board approved their part of it in a meeting quite a while ago, so. Have you gotten anything from planning?
no.
Okay. So we want to,
I read their last minutes and I didn't see any discussions of,
that's 2 meetings ago it's done. So, so we're gonna get together Friday morning, and we would like to do planning and zoning, and we would like to do conservation at the very least at that point. And whatever other ones.
yeah, direct assistance.
Yeah, no, direct assistance is done. We
Well,
did-
that's done,
yeah.
right? The health agencies,
health agencies, yeah, I'll have to,
Okay.
I'll have to call my back. I just got a zing.
yeah, cleaning up the little ones that we haven't gotten picked up. And then should we get, you say planning and zoning's done. Should we go to,
Well, she doesn't have it yet.
Yeah, we're gonna,
But it,
board's
yeah,
part
the
is
plan,
done.
the planning board's part was done
Okay.
beginning of September, so I don't know why. No, they didn't have the COLA in there, but
Right.
that's just,
Yeah, I can-
one. You can do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, general government buildings, I mean, we should probably start putting together a list for the meeting that's gonna be on the 23rd. So the budget committee's meeting on the 9th. So whatever little ones we give them Friday, they can do on the 9th if they want.
mhm.
But then we've got
well,
the,
you've got fire and PD, right, that you're gonna be reviewing, or you've already done that?
So
we've already
we,
done that.
Okay.
yeah, they're done here.
So there are some big budgets to do on the 9th and some little ones. But we should be looking forward to the 23rd and cleaning them all up. The
Right.
government buildings,
Right.
Yeah, I'm working on government buildings and pecking away at it as I'm doing other things. Same thing with financial administration. I've
right.
had to call some vendors like Lakes Region and find out how much we should budget for next year. And, you know, I've been calling Unismart and Avatar to get a feeling as to.
And do we have everything that we need to set the tax rate?
All I need, I'm waiting from Michelle to give me a call to go over the revenues, and that's it.
Okay, so
Everything else is done.
Do you want to do
Yes.
that on Friday as well?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I
yeah.
mean, that's what I'm pushing for.
Right.
So I wanted to make an appointment with her today. She said, no, wait till you get an email from me.
Okay, well, whether or not we get it from her or not, we're gonna set the tax rate on Friday. Just let her know,
Okay.
because we have to do it.
I said, Chip
If she doesn't
said,
like it, she doesn't like it, she doesn't like it, I don't care. Can have Concord running our lives.
That's the truth, yep.
Starting to sound like.
All right.
Well, it's getting
So-
late. I didn't have any breakfast. I put my sugar from.
Hangry.
Angry.
I got my hangry thing going on.
Yep,
All right.
So that spreadsheet is adequate the way it is?
sure, that's fine. Yep,
Okay.
that's great.
And he'll share that with us at some point.
Yes, because I'm going to update it, because there's been some business going on here with
Right.
budgets.
Right,
this
Great.
week, yeah.
So Friday, maybe we'll have an update.
yep,
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thanks.
good. All right,
All right, good.
let's see, I think we're on to Selectmen's updates.
Did you get on action items, the letter from Winnie?
Winnie O'Shaughnessy.
O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah,
Right.
yep,
Yes, we have that. She's expressed her concerns about the cemetery, and I'll be taking that up with the trustees tomorrow night.
yep, and he'll be getting back to it, right? Letting her know what's going on.
I'm sure of it.
Well, I mean, it's important to,
Oh, absolutely. This is one thing, the final resting place of our friends, family, and loved ones is of critical importance to everyone.
yeah,
And
Yes.
we certainly acknowledge that, and we do the best we can under the circumstances. So she will receive, if nothing more, she'll receive a nice letter, but I personally would go because I know the family.
yep. All right, good. Anything else before we go to Selectmen's update, Tammy?
Nope.
All right. Chip?
I attended the budget committee meeting. We went over it a little bit the last time we saw each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's going well. I was asked to create a spreadsheet, if you will, or an explanation on all the departments. I think it boiled down to one department. Because with any new members, there's always the question of things are in different places on the budget. For instance, health benefits are in a different place than wages.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna grab probably the fire department, flush it all out, and I won't be able to do it this week I'm hoping to get it done by the 9th. And I'd like to do a historical on it so that they can see a trend. But all of the information, as Guy and I were talking the other day, is available in the town
Okay.
report.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of
Knowing where to
doing
find
the
it.
exercise.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And it's not our machination that's trying to hide things. It is Department of Revenue Administration's rules about how budgets are constructed. So we can't just change it to suit
Right.
someone's sensibilities. It has to be
Well,
consistent.
and their rules are there so that every budget's the same
Yeah.
across the state, so that you can go from town to town and you're looking for something that this is where you'll find it. And, but to a casual observer, it's not necessarily easy to find
Right.
specific stuff, specific places.
Yeah, it would be nice if it were easier. Sometimes I think it'd be easier to attract people to the job. And we do need to attract people to the job. So,
Yep.
I think that's it for me.
Guy?
I basically went home from the budget committee meeting and sat down and did extract what numbers I could get out of the town report. Took me about 20 minutes. It wasn't too bad. The number, that might surprise people when they actually look at it, but it could be broken down even further in the town. We could have a separate section that says the total cost for each department. They'd make a thicker town report. I don't think it's going to change anything at all, other than the fact that we spend more money on the town report than somebody spends time doing it. The system being what it is, we have a very low voter turnout, and it's how it's been traditionally.
Yeah, I think the problem that I see, and it always happens, is that people's understanding of certain things is more complete than other things. So they will take one or two lines from a report
Hmm.
and, land on that as a problem without looking at the whole budget and the reasons behind the whole budget. It's
Well,
difficult.
that's what we do when we look at budgets and review them with our department heads. We pick it line by line if we have to.
Right.
We've done that, and that's how it works.
And there's
Other
always,
than that,
there's always a little bit of give and take, but ultimately what you're looking for, or what I'm looking for, is the bottom line on the whole budget.
Sure. So from last Friday till now, I don't have anything other than that.
So I went to the 10-year highway plan hearing on Monday afternoon. And the form, you've been before, the format is they make a presentation of what it is that they're bringing forward. Once they put it together, they have, I think it's 23 hearings around the state. This is number 17. And they explain what they have, they kind of go through it on an overall summary, and then they open the floor to questions and comments. I stood up and talked about the Tuftonboro Neck Bridge again, which is not a part of the plan at this point. Not in failure at this point either, but I'm trying to help raise the level of awareness that because it's a single point of access to a significant residential area in town, when it fails, it's not like you take another road to get there. Short of setting up ferry service to take people out, you got a big issue. The only response that I had is that it's important every year to resubmit the request. I think it's, you've raised the issue before of having our representatives, executive council or whatever, aware of this and on our
Well, one
side.
thing that they could do, which would be really easy for towns like Tuftonboro, is to say the 80-20 split or the 60-40 split, I think it's 80-20 on bridges, is a number that can carry forward. Then we could do the bridge and
Yes.
expect to get our 80% refund
Whenever
it happened. But they don't allow that.
Well, one of the things that they did talk about in the plan now is because revenue is down on the motor fuel tax, or what they call the road tax. The amount of money that's being allocated to bridges is down. Okay, so somebody made the determination that the negative delta is going to come out of bridge work rather than out of road resurfacing. I question the advisability of that, given that when a bridge fails, it's a heck of a lot worse problem than if you just got potholes in the road.
Right.
But somewhere along the line, that was where they ended up. Anyway, it's an interesting process, and I certainly came away from it reinforced with the idea that you just have to be persistent and continuing to beat the drum in support of the project before it's a crisis. And a lot of what they deal with are crises rather than.
But there is a significant, whether they like to admit it or not, there's a significant political element. I mean, I look at Bartlett, back when Gene Chandler was speaker.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
doing
yeah.
just fine.
Yeah.
Then there was that bridge on class 5 somewhere in Lyme that was up on the list.
Yeah, yeah.
It's obviously some representative from Lyme or whatever town that has a little more
Yep.
say than our current representatives.
So I also sat in on the Fema Flood Map session on Tuesday morning. And from what I could see, the maps that are being proposed for change in Tuftonboro, not significant. There is one area that's been remapped, which is Wingate Brook, but it didn't look like the way they present it, overlay of the proposed as opposed to the existing didn't look like there were any huge differences in it. Some of the,
I won't have to buy flood insurance.
yeah, yeah. Some of the other.
Yeah, that's right. You're
I'm on Wingate Brook.
Some of the other areas you could see where the floodplain area was changing, but it was more of a formulaic thing that they were looking at.
Yeah.
So this is about the middle of their review process before they publish updated maps, which will be in about 2 years. So it was interesting, but I didn't come away from it feeling that we had some big issues to deal with in Tuftonboro. I think that's all I have. That's all I can remember. Do we have any other business?
I have a point to mention.
Do we have any public input?
Thank you very much. Did you meet last Friday and interview people for the planning board?
Yes, we
Yes, we
did.
did.
You did, okay. So the thing was posted as an agenda on the web, but it wasn't on the calendar. And then the next thing I saw, it was gone off the agenda. I don't care. The point I'm bringing up is, did you hire a person for the planning board?
And it was a non-public anyway, so it wasn't going to be.
They've always been posted, at least let, you know.
I'm not arguing the posted part. I'm just saying it was a non-public, and we didn't hire anyone. We did two interviews.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Two,
Two.
the budget committee on the 9th. I heard you invite the chief. Now, Adam didn't make it the last time. Are you going to have him also?
No, Adam was told not to come the last time because it seemed more reasonable to have him do both the fire and emergency management at the same time.
Okay,
So he was rescheduled. It wasn't that he didn't show up.
I must have missed that conversation
Yeah.
because, you know, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you very much. That's all I want to know.
Okay. And when we have conservation in again, and they're gonna have to put on their budget at some juncture, we need an update on the 19 Mile Brook studies,
Yep.
theoretically.
That being said, we need to go non-public again.
We do.
Yep.
I believe we have two issues, both of which would be personnel.
Yep.
I don't know one, but I'm sure they're both personnel if there are two.
Okay. So I make a motion that we go into non-public session for purposes of personnel.
I'll second.
Marcus, yes?
I'll be yes.
Pike, yes.
Thank you.